This video is about piecewise functions. This is the approaching proficient level. A piecewise function is a function that's composed of different functions. You might think of it like a Frankenstein function. It's just different pieces put together. For example, this line right here, you can see it's a straight line, so it's a linear function. Could be described by y equals mx plus b. And we could see that it would cross through the y-axis down here at -4. It's got a slope of over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, so that is a slope of -1. So we could say, in terms of, y equals mx plus b, that would be y equals -1, or just negative. We'll go ahead and -1. -1x, and then the x-intercept there of 0, comma -4. It'd be -1x minus 4. But that's only between the values, the x values of -5 and -2. And so we could say that that y equals -1x minus 4, so long as x is greater than or equal to -5, less than or equal to -2. Anywho, these are piecewise functions. Now, in this case, it's just asking us, what is the domain? Well, the domain are the x values. And so how far to the left does this go? Well, it goes over here to -5. And that's the furthest left that it goes. It doesn't have an arrow. Otherwise, it would go to -infinity. But it does not have an arrow. It has a dot. It doesn't have an open circle. Otherwise, that value of -5 would not be included. It has a dot, and so it can be equal. And so we'd show the leftmost value as being -5. And then it continues on over to this point. And because it goes to the edge of the graph, we're going to assume that it does have an arrow, which means that it continues to the right. And so it would go off until x equals +infinity. Well, it can never be equal to +infinity, but you get what I mean. The range are the y values. All of the y values represented in the graph in the function. So once again, how far down? This is because they're y values, it's up and down, not left and right. So how far down does this go? Well, the furthest value down is down here at -2. So over here, I would put -2 and a bracket because it is equal at that value to -2. And then it goes up. It goes up here, but it doesn't. That's not the greatest value of y because it continues past that point over here. Again, assuming that arrow, it continues to go up. And so it goes up towards +infinity. So those are the domain and the range for this. All right. So now the x-intercepts. Where does this cross the x-axis? And it crosses right there, and it crosses right there. And so we'll just list those coordinates. That's -4, 0, and +3, 0. And those would be the x-intercepts. Those are the only places that this crosses the x-axis. It could cross more, it could cross not at all, but this one does cross, and it crosses at those 2 points. Now, y-intercept. It crosses right there at 0, -2. Remember, your y-intercepts always happen when x equals 0, and your x-intercepts always happen when y equals 0. So just to kind of draw attention to that, that's always going to be the case for x-intercepts. And for y-intercepts, x equals 0, and that's always going to be the case for y-intercepts. It's the opposite, right? The x-intercepts, y equals 0. Y-intercept, x equals 0. All right, so let's continue here. Let's see. Increasing. As you move from left to right, where does this go up? Between 2 and, let's see, as far as we can see. So this continues off to the right. Remember that your intervals are x intervals. So starting at 2, but this time we're going to use a parenthesis at 2 because right at that point 2, it's not going up, it's not going down. It's a corner, and so it's neither increasing or decreasing. It just kind of stops and is in between. So increasing from 2, but all the way over here to positive infinity. Imagine if you were to take these values and take them up to the x-axis, bring these over here, all of these go up, all of these come down. There would be an arrow because it continues to go to the right. This arrow would come down. And those x values would go from 2 to positive infinity. Decreasing. Where is this decreasing? Well, that's where, as you moved from the right to the left, it goes down. Again, if we were to bring this, again, right at this point, it's not increasing, it's not decreasing, it's just right there at a point. And so again, we would use even though this is a dot, we would use an open circle because at that point, right at that point, it's not doing anything. It's not increasing, it's not decreasing. So then we move forward until we get over here. During all of this space, it's going down. But what are the x values? From -5, -2. So over here, we would put -5 to -2. And then where is this constant? Well, that just means it's not going up, it's not going down. And so that's happening right here and here. And so from -2 to +2, from -2 over here to +2, parentheses. And that's it.